All right, you should have a sheet that looks like this, and I've blacked out the problems because I want to focus on some of the rules that I'm going to be using. I realized when I was done making the video, which I've already done, that I went very quickly through some of the steps. We did go through them yesterday if you were here, but I want to write them down and be really clear. The two most used rules that we have in this entire system is number one, I can take a triangle off each side of the equal sign, or the scale as we call it. The other rule that I use throughout the whole thing is I can take the same number off each side. If you can remember those two rules as the main ones we use in most of our problem solving, then I think as you watch the video, it will start to make sense. The translating from traditional problems into triangles and number cubes will come to you, and it's just a matter of doing more problems with more experience. Remember that there is an answer key with work posted on Schoology, so that when you do the back side of this worksheet, you will have something to turn to see if you're on the right track. If you finish early, please work on homework or read or do something quietly. I know it's not a lot of problems, but we're just at the beginning. See you tomorrow. Okay, in this video, I'll be working with you to translate and solve using the triangle method. So I have 1 through 6 on this video, and then if you flip over your worksheet, you can try 7 through 12 on your own, and there is an answer key provided that you can look at to check in and see how you're doing. We'll start with number 1. I'm going to start by making my scale. The middle of my scale, of course, is determined by my equal sign. And I notice here that this is telling me I need to create 4 repetitions of 2x plus 5. So I'm going to almost make little reminders here. 4 times over, I need to repeat a 2x and a 5, two x and a 5, 2x and a 5, 2x and a 5. On this side it says 3 times over I need to repeat 3x plus 5. All right, so I've got my setup. And the first thing I notice is I've got several 5s on this side and 5s on this side, and I know the rule is I can take the same number off the left and the right sides at the same time. So I'm going to take all 3 of my 5s off of the right side, which means I also need to at the same time take 3 5s off of the left. I'm going to do the same thing with my triangles, because I know the other rule says I can take a triangle off the left side as long as I take it off the right side at the same time. On this side, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 triangles. On this side, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I've got one more over here. If I cross off all 8 of these triangles, I have enough here to cross off 8 as well. I'm taking the same weight off each side of my equation. Very easily I can see that one triangle, or x, is equal to 5. Number 2 says 16 is equal to 2 repetitions of x plus 4. So here's x plus 4 once, and x plus 4 twice. So we can actually do this in pieces if we want. I've got a 4 here. If you're not a good subtractor, sometimes it's easier to take 1 4 at a time. So I'll no longer have 16 on the left. I'll replace that with a 12. Then I've got 4 more on this side, and I can take 4 away from 12. That's pretty easy for me. Now I've got 8 on the left is equal to 2x, or 2 triangles, which means 1 triangle is equal to 4. Number 3 is pretty easy. We've got 3 x's plus 2 more x's equals 10. If I have 5 triangles, I take that 10, divide it evenly among 5 triangles, and triangle equals 2. Okay, number 4 has a little bit more to it, so let's talk that one through a little more slowly. Number 4 on the left side is pretty simple. I have an x and I have 16. On the right side, I'm going to just read left to right and follow all my instructions. I've got 3 x's and then I'm instructed to take away one of those x's. So I'm just going to go ahead and cross it off. Now I'm going to add 2 repetitions of x plus 2. So I'm actually going to try a little decomposing for this one. I'm going to start by trying to get rid of these 2 2's. And so I'm going to break 16. I'm going to rewrite 16 as 12 plus 2 plus 2. It's just a different way of looking at it, so that I've replaced the 16 with 3 numbers that do add up to it. We know we're always adding when we're doing our hands-on equations. So that means I can get rid of a 2 over here, and a 2 over here, a 2 over here, and a 2 over here. I've already brought down my x here, so I've got x plus 12 is equal to 4 x's on the right. And now I'm going to cross an x. I want to get rid of this. That means I also have to cross an x off the right side. So now I'm left with 3 x's on the right are equal to 12 on the left, which means triangle is equal to 4. All right, and number 5. Number 5 begins with 2 x's plus a 1. Remember, we don't need to write plus, because once we translate into triangles and numbers, we're always adding. Plus another x, plus 4. On the right side, I've got x plus 16. Whoops, excuse me. Plus another x. I'm going to have to erase that in my mind, I apologize. So with this one, it seems like I can start with a couple ways. I can start crossing x's off the left, excuse me, off the right and the left. I crossed off 2 on the left and 2 on the right. I'm going to rewrite, which just is a little bit neater for me. I have 16 over here, and I have a shaded triangle, and a total of 5 over here. So I think I'm going to, I know I can take 5 off each side. I've got more than enough over here. I'm going to take 5 away from 16, which means my triangle is 11. Last but not least, I've got 3x and a 5. And I've got an x and a 19. This is a good example of our 2 basic rules, right? I can take an x off each side because they are of equal weight, so it does not disturb the balance. I can also take the same number off each side. So again, back to our decomposing. I'm going to rewrite the number 19 as 5 plus 14. As long as those 2 things equal 19, that's okay. And that allows me to get rid of 5 on the left and 5 on the right very easily. And I can see that I have 2 triangles that are equal to 14, which makes one triangle equal to 7.